Murder in the first degree, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Kidnapping with intent to commit rape, do you admit or deny?
I admit.
Murder in the first degree, to that charge, sir, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Enter the house and tie up the husband, and then basically remove the female from the bedroom and commit his sexual assault, oftentimes eating within the house there. So he was there for many hours at times. He would also remove items from within the homes.
The answer's out there. We need a name, because when we match that name to that profile, that journey for justice will come to an end. And so I plead to everybody here in Sacramento, whether you thought you knew a name, you heard something, whatever it is, the sample was sample from the East Area Rapist Golden State Killer was used in genealogy sites, and from there a family lineage was developed, and from that a lot of work was done by detectives and as I say, building the trees to find the relationship that he may or ultimately we led us to Mr. DeAngelo. And from that point, once we kind of were led to him through this, then the samples were collected surreptitiously from it, which then matched, we now know, the East Area Rapist Golden State Killer.
The family members of the murder victims have waited for decades for justice for their loved ones. The sexual assault victims have waited decades for justice. The men whose wives or girlfriends were sexually assaulted have waited decades for justice. The final resolution of this case at this time will allow the remaining victims and family members of the victims to hear the defendant admit that he committed these acts and crimes, and will allow them to be heard at the time of sentencing.